Hey guys, this time I'm going to show you guys how to use a Tim's possum trap or Tim's kill trap. So there's two ways I'm going to show you. First is the standard, just setting on the ground, and the second will be setting in an area where you got kiwis or maybe even people at home who've got kids running around and they're worried about catching their children in a Tim's trap. So don't want that, so I'll show you guys how to use a Tim's trap in those areas too. So pretty much for the standard ground set will be the Tim's trap, 2 pegs, 1 mandarin. We'll use 1 mandarin in this case, or 2. So we'll start off, we'll have a look at the Tim's trap, how does it work. So the Tim's trap is pretty much just a plastic box. You got the pear-shaped hole here, which is where the animal puts its head in. You got the kill bar, and you got the trigger bar here. So how this guy works is, this is actually designed from a guy. He was actually looking at the old flip side toasters, how when you just touch it and it flips back up. Well, he got the same design, he's using that same idea with the Tim's trap. So now I've just pulled the string, which is now in a set position. We'll grab a stick here, preferably not broken. What happens is the possum will come in through the front. It'll pull on the bait bar or the trigger bar, and when the trap unbalances, goes off. It doesn't actually chop its head off, but what it does is it'll force its head up into the pear-shaped opening. I'll just put the stick there and let it off softly so you can see. So you look at the front of the trap, you can see the kill bars force the stick up in the upper part of this opening, and what it does is it cuts off the carotid arteries of the possum and the windpipe, and leads to death very quickly. As because the mechanism of killing the possum, it is very important that you put the bait horizontally on the bait, on the trigger bar. Otherwise, as the possum puts its head in, it will turn it to the side and it will strike it on the side of the neck. So what we're going to do first is we're going to bait this, okay? We'll just get our stick out of there first. It's very important that when you set these traps off, don't just let it slam up, because what it'll do is it'll eventually break the top of the Tim's trap itself. It'll break the plastic from the kill bar just striking that. All traps, you should never dry fire them. So what we'll do is we're going to bait this. So we'll get this mandarin first. We're going to break it in half. Break a bit off there, so it's pretty much at a half. So that's a perfect little piece there. So we'll show you guys from the front, looking down. We've got the mandarin here. We're going to poke it all the way up till you got the zigzag in the trigger bar. Now the trap is now baited, so we're going to sit the trap. So let's say we want to protect this tree here. We're going to put the trap side on to the tree. And the reason being is you don't know if the possum's going to come down from the tree or it's going to come from that way to the trap. We're going to use these 2 pegs, and we're going to secure the trap to the ground. Right. At this stage, it doesn't matter if if the mandarin goes, drops down onto that bar, the crossbar at the bottom there. So to set the trap, it's extremely easy. All you do is you put your foot on top, grab the string. Trap is now set. So it's a perfect trap for young people getting into trapping, or if you're or elderly people who no longer have the strength for other traps. Now this, what you can do is you can use it as a lure and just sit it in front of the trap, which will bring the possums to the front of the trap. So that is how you do a ground set for with a Tim's trap. You can use a blaze or something, flower blaze, and make your trapping site more effective. So we'll go on to the the raised set for a Tim's trap. There's plenty of ways of doing it. This is my way of doing it, which is simple. I've got a piece of plywood and a piece of 3x2. There's 4 nails holding the plywood to the piece of 3x2, sorry. And then I've got 3 old, just old second-hand nails, which I'll just use for attaching it to the tree. Now, most people who look at a right angle bracket like this would attach it to the tree like this. But we don't want it attached to the tree, we actually want it like that, hanging off to one side, and I'll explain that as I go. So what I'm going to do is about maybe head height, whatever you're comfortable with. If you had a flat side of the tree, even more perfect. So, hanging off the tree like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my trusty trapper's tool. I'll sit you guys looking up at it like that. I'll grab my trusty rabbit's tool, and we'll go, maybe mediocre height, and we'll attach our bracket to the tree. If you've got cows in the area, cows love setting Tim's traps off just for the fun of it. So you may want to put it about, just over head height. I'm not worried if I'm not putting this here permanently, it's just to show you guys. Okay. So this is what our Tim's trap bracket will look like. So we're gonna get our Tim's trap. Say we never set it on the ground. So it's in a kiwi area now, so we don't want this trap on the ground. The trap has now been set. So what you want to do is you want to tip the trap over backwards, like so the trap doesn't go off. Don't put your fingers in any of the openings. If it goes off, it'll go thud and scare you. Now I'll show you why I've set this trap. I put the bracket on the end. You see the Tim's trap is now to one side of the tree. The possum now has room to come down to here and then go into the trap. You can also do the same with your lure and just put it in front. So that is that's the way you do a standard tree set Tim's trap. So now this is up high, it's out of the way, your kiwi can't get to it. You can do a ramp to it if you want to. You put it down low, do a ramp to the Tim's trap this way, and that will that works very well. But you don't want to do that if you've got weka in the area, because weka will go up ramps. You can permanently screw the trap to here, but if you want to permanently screw the trap to a place, what you want to do is you want to shorten this a bit. So what we'll do is we'll set this off and I'll show you why. Now if you shorten that trigger bar off and you have your trap screwed to there, what you can do, you can see it's quite close to the floor of the trap there. You can actually move it forwards, and then you can just bait it through the front of the trap. So here we go, guys. That's how you do. That's how you use a Tim's trap. First for the ground set, and then for the raised set for around kiwis or even your children or pets. It's important to know that these are effective for against feral cats, but a trap doesn't disguise. Doesn't see the difference between a feral cat and a someone's pet, so be very careful if you're going to use them against feral cats, or better off using a cage trap. So if you do catch someone's pet, you can release it, but if you're going to use it against feral cats, please don't do it around around built up areas or where you're liable to catch people's pets, or if you've got pet cats at home, then you may want to adopt this option, because you're a lot less likely to catch cats. You can also attach your Tim's trap to a tree like that, but that's a lot less effective. Oh guys, well, we'll see you guys next time. We'll show you how to use a warrior kill trap. Thanks, see you guys.